When you want your spring break to feel like... and your kids' pool day to feel like... and your hotel bed to feel like... ooh, and room service to feel like... because at Hilton, hospitality feels like...
Your cabana's ready. Would you like fresh towels?
It matters where you stay. Book now at Hilton.com. Hilton, for the stay.
Scott and Keith are Titterpigs, yeah. Keith and Scott are Titterpigs, oh yeah. They're gonna talk about sweet, sweet RPGs. And it's the Titterpigs, the RPG podcast. Am I getting paid for this one?
So, before we move on to the Grey Knight itself, one last question on the rules themselves. So, were there, outside of combat, since we've kind of beat that wounded horse quite a bit, were there any other rules that we experienced in the game, whatever they were, that you particularly found interesting or particularly found to be troublesome for you to understand or to comprehend in some way for the game?
I mean, I think
whether it be the starter set or during the Grey Knight,
the entirety of the rules, yeah.
I mean, what we haven't kind of highlighted, we've looked at the battles, but what we really haven't looked at is the core of the game mechanics, which is the personality traits,
right?
You know, yeah, exactly, and just how important they are to play. Because I mean, you know, Neve, your character's constantly reckless, and one of the things about those personality traits is they kind of work both as advantages and disadvantages in play. You know, sometimes they can help you, sometimes they can't. You know, and often they'll force you, even if you don't have a very high trait, you know, like whether it's just or temperate or, you know, or unworldly, it may force you to act in a way that you don't think your character is normally going to do, and that changes how you perceive your character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, it's my single favourite aspect of the books. I mean, I love the traits in particular, but the passions as well. But the traits. But then again, this was actually the thing that when I played back in the 80s, a couple of players just couldn't. You know, they totally bounced off it. They hated having any of their autonomy taken away by some dice roll. For me, it's well, it comes down. That's exactly how I like to play. I like a dice roll to tell me how my character's going to behave. So I would regularly be making trait rolls without even being asked, just to see what I'm going to do next.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, we didn't have that option because we took pre-generated characters. But when you create your character using the core rules, you set your traits. Yeah. So you design them yourself. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, But I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. So you know, and you set them how you like. But one of the aims of the traits is to try and work them to the point where, you know, you embody a particularly sort of set of knightly virtues, whether that's Christian or Cymric or you know, or Saxon,
right?
Or pagan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or pagan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the others.
Yeah. I mean, when I, because my character was the only one who died. Well, no, I mean, all of kid characters kept dying. But when we started Grey Knight and we said, right, I'm going to roll a new character up, and we actually did it as an experiment. I think we took almost pretty much an entire session just rolling him up. Must have been fascinating for everybody else. But I made the conscious decision, I'm just going to do everything randomly just to see what sort of mess comes out of it at the end.
Right.
I got to say, I absolutely love him. He's one.
He's brilliant. Your character is brilliant.
I just absolutely adore it. And it was a complete random set of, and just randomly getting those results. And then the first few sessions of play, just like character came out, and it's point where now I'm like, what do you want to play? I want to roll some dice and let's see.
Yeah,
brilliant. And I can't think of another game that's going to give you that sort of freedom to just completely let the dice decide who your character is, and then run with it.
Yeah. And I mean, there was also the other thing that I really found was amazing was during the campaign. There are moments where you gain extra passions. Okay. And for me, I discovered something completely unexpected that I didn't know about the character whatsoever. I'd not given any thought to it. Was when I got the adoration of Guinevere, and I rolled 16, which is almost maximum. You're going, and I have a large female character with an adoration of the Queen, who is supposed to be incredibly attractive anyway. And you're just going, well, how does that change the character? How does she? In what way does she feel that adoration? And that's quite interesting. Yeah. What? That's a
Night Stalker. Ooh.
Yeah. How does she react to her?
Yeah. No, well, even with the pre-gens, right? So like Neve, Dame Tamora on day one, her destiny was not pre-written as she eventually is going to be this reckless, wild, just force of nature. Yeah.
She's got the bow. She's there to be the hunter. She's there to be the tracker. She's the outdoor type. She's not. I just basically made every reckless increase. Yeah. I think it's 17 now, which is bloody ludicrous. It's not my highest either. I mean, my piety's through the roof. It's like, oh God.
Yeah.
So I'm really the pagan virtue going down there.
She's destined to be a pagan queen, apparently.
And you've also created passions for NPCs. Sir Kay, he has a hate for you for many different reasons.
Yeah.
Because of dumb luck. So
a couple of bad rolls, and then having to face him and putting on his arse straight away in a tournament has not done me any favors. But it's all down to luck.
Yeah.
So just before I go ahead, tell you the one thing that there was one set of rules that I had some issues with. Scott, did from a game master's perspective, rules wise, any like shining things that you really liked, or any one particular thing that you were just like, that's absolute shit, I wish they would rewrite it?
So, I mean, nothing that extreme, but I just but for those listening or watching, just real quick, the rules themselves, as far as the traits are concerned in Pendragon, there's opposing forces. Classic example is chaste versus lustful. The sum of both of them equal 20. So they go on a sliding scale, and they will move up or down depending on how the game goes. So that is the pull, of that's going on with your particular knight. And it is a gameable situation. So there's a lot of, for the most part, you have autonomy until something comes up that questions your higher levels of these, and you need to roll in order to see how your character goes. And like Roy said, some people don't like that. Other people love it. It's a role-playing opportunity. It also creates, wonderful randomness in the game. But one of the things that just kind of took me a while to get used to was, so if I threw an example at Roy's character, who is very chaste, right? And the situation arose where someone was tempting him. Roy would have a high chaste, and it would require him to make a roll. Now, what was confusing to me was, does he roll chaste? Does he roll lustful? That kind of always, still kind of confuses me of which one he attacks first.
Doesn't really matter.
Yeah. But go ahead.
Because you've got to roll, if you fail one, you've got to roll the other one anyway. So,
right. And that was the other thing.
Yeah. It might be worth clarifying that with all Pendragon characters, you have 20 traits, but they're 10 pairs of opposing. So whatever, and it's always a total of 20. So if you've got 11 in one, you've got 9 in the opposing one. So if you're your charity is high, then your selfishness will be low.
Right.
And if you're chaste or lustful or various different things, and they kind of, and these are the things that kind of make your character your character. And you're required as a player to play your character along those lines. But what I like about being able to roll is that often, if you just had those set and say, "Oh, this is what you like," and didn't have the rolling, then that would lead, say, with Dan Tamora's recklessness. If you're playing that high, so I'm just always reckless, I'm always reckless. Rolling, you've always got the chance you're going to fail the roll, so you can actually do something different for a change that you might not have thought of. If you're normally doing it, it's what my character would do. Well, the dice has told you that it's not what your character would do, so you can do something different.
Right. In that situation, you're not, because you failed to roll, you're not going to potentially not be reckless. You roll the opposing trait.
Right.
And you fail that one. Now you can choose which one you're going to do. And
with that, though, with reckless, when you're going into combat, you get to choose if you want to be reckless or not. I have to make a roll because my reckless is so high. I don't get an option to choose. I have to basically roll to see if I take the stance.
Yeah, you have to fail the roll to.
I have to fail to roll to give himself no. Everyone else gets a chance. They can be at 14 reckless, which is reckless.
Yeah,
but you aren't forced down that path. It's when you go above
16.
15. It's 16 and above.
16 and above.
Yeah.
But I mean, but traits, those traits essentially of 16 or above mean you are known for it's a known aspect of your personality.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But it took a while, to kind of get through to understand the different tiers. And then of course there's like you said, the different tiers of traits. The passions weren't so much because they work similarly to RuneQuest, which I'm familiar with. But of course those, the results from the passions are different, depending on how well you roll or you don't roll. And, so I think a lot of it was not the determining the outcomes of it. It's just when do these get applied and in what regards, as far as failing or winning, passions, if you fail, it's kind of good, because you don't go crazy, but if you critically succeed, it's kind of good, but it could also be bad. But likewise, critical failure isn't always bad. It's nuanced. It's nuanced. There's not these straight lines that, once again, in other games seem to be, critical failure means this, critical success means something specific, but everything is a tad nuanced. And that kind of took me a while to get. And even then, brain farts occur. It's just like, wait, shit. You failed your chaste, so that means you roll your lustful. Wait, no, you roll your lustful, but you still need to fail your chaste. So there was a bit of that going on, and it's a learning curve. But eventually it becomes clear.
Pendragon has shades of gray. It does.
GREY.
Yeah. All right. Let me lay out the one that I had some issues with. So we're going to jump ahead to the feasts.
Oh,
we had two feasts. We're going to jump all the way to the end of the game stuff, all the way to the end. Right. So in feasting, you make some calculations based on your appearance. Your glory gives you some additional points. Some other factors give you a number of total points for your geniality. And then this gives you the ability to draw cards during each feast round. The game master, based on the size of the feast, determines how many rounds the feast is going to be. If you're going to a feast with King Arthur's hosting, it's going to be 5 rounds. It's going to be a full game session. I mean, it's the feast, just for everybody's edification. A feast in Pendragon is a game within the game. It's its own kind of thing. Now, you draw cards, you do the things on the cards. Okay. my issue is because I have reread the rules for the first version of the feasting rules that David Larkins published for the previous edition, and I've reread these rules. Now, in this current edition, you draw a feast card, and then so let me back up. You have a choice in each feast round you can go flirting, you can gamble, you can dance, you can talk trash, those kind of social encounter type things, or you can draw a card. So if you draw a card, if you opt not to do a social thing, you can draw a card. If you don't like that card, let's say you can draw 4 cards. You don't like that card, you can draw another card. You don't like that card, you can draw another card. Until you choose to play one of the cards, or you draw the last card that you have the ability to draw. In our example here is 4th card. You have to play the 4th card if you haven't played a previous card. And you have to do whatever the card says. And go through the stuff. Now, I don't like that. It's boring. It's very monotonous. It's very time consuming. It breaks the immersion of the game and everything else in the story. They need to get rid of that shit. Now,
why?
Now the previous edition,
okay,
at the beginning of each feast round, if I had the ability for 4 cards, I draw all 4 of my cards.
Okay.
So I have a hand of 4 cards. So during that round, if it's not my turn for that round, I already know if I want to play a card or do a social thing.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to be my turn, I've already got I already know what my 4 options of cards are.
Okay.
I don't have to draw and go, do I want to read it? And do I want to do this? No. Do I draw another card? Do I read it? Do I want to do this? No.
Mm-hmm.
And go through the bullshit of that. I already have my 4 bloody cards in my hand and I don't like any of them. All right, cool. I'm going to go flirt and see if I can find me a hookup for the night.
You said
Giddy
hook up,
baby.
right? You said hook up, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
I thought I heard a different ending, but anyways.
I was going to say, I don't think Sir Eustace. He's being overly positive on his chances there.
Yeah. Sir Eustace is not getting laid.
Was on the other pronunciation, he'd probably be all right.
Oh, go ahead, Pookie. Sorry.
No, all I was going to say was I think that the other thing about playing through the feast cards, there's lots of lovely events. They bring up lots of things you can engage with.
Mm-hmm.
But the process as presented kind of feels as if it's just you going to a feast and having some events happen to you.
Yeah.
And there's no interaction. There's no capacity for you to go, oh, that's an interesting event.
Mm-hmm.
For you to go leap over and get involved with someone else's feast card.
Correct.
I think the first feast, we had one feast card that sent us all out on a hunt afterwards the next day.
Yeah,
that was it. So,
and there are other things that, like, for example, more wine or whatever the card was called, which involves all of you drinking.
Right.
But again, it's more of like, okay, everyone make a roll and see if you're, drunk or more drunk or passed out.
Now, I will say, I will say that there are cards that or there used to be cards. I haven't gone through all these cards, but the original feast deck was considerably larger. I think it was like a third larger.
Okay.
So there were more options. Like you could end up in a social situation, like, singing a song, leading a dance, whatever. And then that's where the role-playing element and the story element can circle back around and bring everybody back in. But it does require the GM to really want to weave in everybody back in when possible.
Right.
So people don't feel like they're stovepiped into their little event, their card or whatever it is, or their little social thing that they're doing. And then that's it. Because otherwise it feels like it's literally a game within a game within a game.
Okay.
And that's it. So
I think that's fair because I don't have the same experience with the previous one. It did kind of creep into my thoughts of, okay, well, now here's Keith's situation, and the camera's just looking at him. And then, even though they were interesting, but it literally was an individual aspect. Now, the feast was kind of tweaked a bit because Roy was, quote unquote, the host, but also a participant. So there are particular cards that I didn't play because, it involves the host doing something which wouldn't have been in, Roy's character's retinue to do. But in hindsight, a little bit of tweaking or even just maybe a merging of the both would make it a more, it's not just Keith and Pookie and Neve and Roy at the event. It's, the knights of, such and such, and they're here, and some may interact, some may not, and whatnot. Right. So I don't know. I think the feast, like many kind of like these side rules that occur in Pendragon, require, a couple of returns to kind of absolutely get your feel for it. But
if I were to make one rule change like to the feast, it would would go back to the first version of the feast rules for version 1 of the feast rules for 5.2 edition, which was you draw all, if you have 4 cards to be able to use in a feast round, you draw all 4 cards off the deck at the beginning of the round, so you know what you have available to you. Right. Everybody draws their cards all at once, and you have your cards.
What were you going to say?
Me?
Yeah.
Alcohol consumption. Rules are broken.
Yeah.
With the wine giving us +5.
Yeah.
So assume everyone's on a 10-10 for the passion, for the traits. That's 75% chance you're going to get drunk the first round.
Yeah.
Then a 25% chance you're going to be conscious at the end of the second round.
Yeah.
So the idea of a 5-round feast, everyone's going to be passed out. Gone.
Yeah.
So all those cards that you could possibly play all the way through the feast and enjoy it, doesn't matter. You're unconscious. Gone.
It escalates. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Neve.
Yeah. Because once you get drunk, you're getting the -5 on everything.
Yeah.
You need layers of being drunk, not just I'm drinking, I'm drunk, I'm unconscious. You've got to gradiate it more, and it'll be fine. But as it is,
a fumble roll maybe, but not a just
and here's a confession. I tweaked it because I slightly I had the effects happen. The next round,
didn't you?
Yeah,
right. But technically speaking, as the rules are portrayed, that's happening to you then. And but I was there for a particular. We were having fun. This feast was supposed to, kind of not just be for a feast, but it's also was providing a particular story arc. And so I did put my thumb on the scale slightly because not being fully familiar with the rules, I didn't want all 5 of you passed out. And then the door kicks in and here's the baby and like no one's there to see what's going on. So but even then,
even then you were basically just down to me to be the one who my character,
right?
Because everyone was passed out. Yeah.
And then it's the fairy queen handing Gwynhild said, when those 2 wake up, this belongs to one of them. See ya.
Yeah.
I mean, my edition of Pendragon was 3rd edition. And there it was, there was rounds of feast, but it was just a random table for each round.
Okay.
And then, the players would roll. And I don't think it was even individual rolls. You rolled as a group to see what was happening. Some of the cards came up with some nice little things. I mean, I still remember Roz's character, Damon L, scrambling around under the tables trying to find that bloody earring for half the feast. But on the whole, I don't think the cards. Also, we had to go through working out what is the factor we had to work out before we could even start drawing cards.
Oh, for geniality,
and then worked out how. And at the end of the day, the only real result of it is: do you get this much glory or that much glory? It was incredibly clunky.
Yeah,
it was tedious.
Yeah, we spent 25 minutes just trying to work that out. In the bin.
Okay. Fair enough.
You just make it so much simpler. I don't think cards add anything. I think just a few random tables for you to roll on. And if you've exhausted that too many times in sessions, then the GM's going to have to get off his arse and actually come up with some new ones. So.
No, I agree. I mean, there's and they do have blank cards if you want to do your own kind of thing. But yeah, no, it's the geniality aspect was, like you said, didn't take off. You know, it was a bumpy ride to get to that point. And ultimately at the end, you know, we had a feast that lasted a couple hours, and you walked away with maybe 100 glory at the end of it.
I think I haven't solved.
It was
no, it's fun.
We had a lot of fun with it.
I mean,
so, you know, don't want to run it down too much, but
yeah.
I haven't solved the drinking thing, but in the original rules for the feast, intoxication rolls were only made by characters with temperate values of 16 or higher, never needed to roll.
Okay.
Those with indulgent values of 16 or higher were assumed to automatically become drunk and never needed a roll. All others only needed to roll when the more drink card came up or when requested by the game master.
Okay. All right. So, I mean,
but that right there, that summation is not in the current game master's guide.
Yeah, no, it could be fleshed out a little bit more. So, writing on Keith saying, any other particular rules, you know, as we ran through the starter set and before we kind of get into the Grey Knight details here in a bit, was there anything else that kind of maybe stood out that was just like, you know, again, this is a great addition. I'm glad this was added to the rules, or this rule worked very well, or maybe something else, you know, that you could use improvement. So it's not all us, you know, taking a leak on the feast table at this point in the podcast.
Starter characters having zeros in some of the skills they're supposed to have.
Yeah.
Some of the skills we only found out when Roy and Keith started doing new characters that, you start with 5 in this. Well, I got 0.
Yeah.
And there's a few of us that had zeros where we should have had 5s.
Oh,
so it's just something that the starter set comes out before the game. Obviously, that got slipped through. When you're running the starter set, if you've got the full game, if you got the full game, just go through and correct the character sheets. Yeah. It's a minor thing.
Yeah.
Totally minor.
Yeah.
Roy, Pookie
characters.
Yeah, I mean,
I would real quick. In hindsight, again, this is Scott's personal recommendation. Starter set is great, but have your characters make characters, and then go through the introductory scenario at Salisbury, which will lead you right up into the starter set. And then play the scenario with those characters that created. It's going to be so much more interesting, so much more fun. It will they'll get a little bit of a grip on how the rules work, but it will still highlight things they haven't touched upon through the opening scenario. And then it will not that you guys didn't get attached to your characters because you made them your own, but it will definitely provide them with some of the gaps that occur in the starter set. So
are those the ones in the GM's handbook?
The scenarios, yes, yeah,
because there are a couple of scenarios at the back of the Game Master's Handbook, which are basically are kind of set before the events of the starter set.
Yeah.
So if you came to the starter set like we did, they weren't available.
No.
But now if you want to basically go, okay, I want to play everything that is officially available. Start there, then go into the starter set.
Yeah, I mean, for the if at some point in the future we return to the Savage King and whatnot, I would probably throw options out for all y'all if you want to just make new characters, with this, with the same amount of glory and whatnot, or just roll with your own, because
No, we need to know who the daddy.
Yeah.
Well, not you two. You're stuck.
Oh, not us.
We've got characters that were rolled up.
Yeah,
I have to say, I was actually really impressed by how, what an interesting bunch of characters they came up with for those.
Yes,
like pre-gens.
Yeah,
I mean, I never would have thought of playing, my second character playing it if I hadn't been playing for Sir Asterius first. And the moment I started playing him, I was just like, oh, this is great.
Right.
I love this guy.
Despite the quirky bits that got through, as Neve pointed out on the pre-gen characters, despite those little quirky bits, in the numbers. The characters themselves are quite good. For pre-gen characters. They are.
Well, they don't necessarily come across as tropes.
No.
But at the same time, they display such a wide variety of different characters. But you're all effectively knights or dames.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, that's despite the sort of kind of focus at this point of standard character creation, which is on very limited number of options in terms of knights. The only thing I would kind of grumble about Gwynhild, my character, is the fact that she's the only Saxon knight, and that doesn't come into play hardly at all in the scenarios present, where they constantly whether or not you are a Christian or a pagan knight, and technically, the Wotanic worship falls under pagan, but you're kind of going, well, it's really a bit different to that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It is one of those things that, if you were to play the Great Pendragon campaign, the Boy King and all the rest of it, being a Saxon knight will become a massive element later on in the campaign. It's just it plays because basically it's one of those brief periods where Britain's actually at peace with the Saxon invaders.
Yeah, I mean, it's
themselves been not dealing with the Saxons very much.
You do run into that in a lot of starter sets and pre-gen characters where there are set fields on character sheet where something's got to go, but there may not be anything in the starter set that pertains to that until you get into the core books or other aspects of it.
And I think they're also I think those decisions were made to help kind of shine a light on what is or will be available.
Sure.
Which obviously will be a version of this
at
some point, because I mean, essentially that's what everything, I mean, the whole point about basically the starter set, the Grey Knight, all of it is kind of a funnel for you to go, no, you really you don't want to go and play your own stuff. You can, we'll let you, that's no problem. We want you really to come and play this.
Yeah. I think they should show the size of the spine.
Yeah.
The Great Pendragon campaign.
For those listening, Pookie's holding up the Great Pendragon campaign, which is probably about 600 pages or more.
And for those listening, Scott and I,
it's about 450.
Okay.
Yeah. Scott and I did an interview with David Larkins. Oh God, so many episodes.
Couple years ago.
So many episodes ago in the past. And David did say they will eventually redo it, but it won't be a single book. It'll be multi-part. And I think he said it was going to be 5 parts.
Wow. Yeah.
Because it's going to be one book per cycle.
Yeah. I mean, with a previous group, I have actually started playing the Great Pendragon campaign, and we only got about 10 years in. Wow. And that was about 4 months of hard play.
That was pretty much our experience as well.
Yeah, it's an investment in time.
Yeah.
We were doing, all our game was all set in the sort of anarchy between Uther and Arthur and pulling the sword from the stone and stuff. And we never actually got to Arthur.
Because you can also run a campaign before Arthur.
Yeah.
Yes. Uther period.
Classic Boy King stuff. So before the Great Pendragon camp.
Yeah, you can do the whole shebang. So, the starter set, it concludes with the battle of with King Lot, and then it opens you up to other suggestions if you want to fill it in, and then the core rule books came out after that, the core book and the Game Master's Guide. I think the one question that I would have real quick before we move on, winter phase, do you have any commentary on there? Because one of what would be the meta currency or the experience of the game is you earn glory, your glory rises, and your glory affects what your character does during winter phase being the end of the year, where a lot of rolls occur to upgrade your traits and skills and changes in passions, and if you're playing a larger game, your lord will provide you with funds or money. You get married, you have kids, the lands that you own or don't own. There's some housekeeping regarding that, or some bookkeeping, I should say. Also, did any one of you feel like there, at least with this version, the amount of bookkeeping involved that between you got to track your wounds, you got to do this, you got to do that, and the bookkeeping at the end of the year, that feel fine? Was there, did it feel a bit overwhelming, or did it feel like, well, this is great, or are some of you, sadists and wish there's not enough bookkeeping? I want 8 pages of character sheets.
I was just going to say, because with the campaign we did, we weren't landed. So there's a huge bit of the winter phase we never had to deal with.
Yeah.
Right.
Whether it's like having kids, getting married, looking after our manor, like problems with our peasants and things like this. I'm once again remembering it back to the 3rd edition. It was all huge fun. We used to have a riot doing the winter session. It was often the most fun part of the session, because people just one dice roll and you just reel off this ridiculous tale of what's going on from a single dice roll. It was I kind of it, because we weren't landed, we didn't have to do it, and that's one of the things I was kind of remembering most fondly, thinking, oh, I can't wait to do that, and then we never had to do it because our knights didn't have land. So
it's like taking to this point where one of our characters, your knight Roy, is actually finally got one of us has finally got married. So there's quite a lot involved in the winter phase, and and I can remember, I have to agree, you're kind of going, oh, you want to get onto that, and you kind of want to get onto the generational play or get that rolling. And at this point, the campaign, what's available, doesn't quite support that yet. And I mean, there's obviously sort of like, again, it's the roles from that will generate more aspects, of the story about your home life and so on, and sort of fill in sort of like further bits about your character. For example, when we were playing the Pendragon campaign, I have to do a shout out to Pete Eldridge, who always failed his horse care role. He could never keep a horse alive during the winter phase, and we couldn't understand.
Poor bastard.
What's going on? What are you doing to your horses every winter? Are you that bored? Are you are you neglecting them?
He's not allowed to mention it publicly, apparently.
Yeah. But it's a big part of the play of Pendragon, but it's not there yet. I mean, of course, essentially what we're waiting for is the 3rd book of essentially the Pendragon rules trilogy, which will be the Nobles book.
Yeah.
Which has now been announced.
Sorry.
So it's just been announced now. It's on its way out at some point.
May, I believe.
Yeah.
This is
correct.
Something
May.
A sort of warning tale.
Okay.
When we did, the reason we ended up stopping playing Pendragon was because myself and another player fell out, because the GM had my character kind of taken away to the land of Fae for a year. And when he came back, one of the other players had decided to seduce my character's wife. And I got so incensed, I challenged his, and we ended up having a duel, and I killed his character. But the whole thing created so much bad faith at the table. We were so pissed off about the whole thing. I just couldn't believe the GM allowed it. So, Martin Farrell, if you're listening to this, I still bloody hold the grudge.
Nice.
I'm going to say, Pete, we still want to know what you were doing to those horses.
Right. Okay. So that goes without saying that we did not use the breadth of the rules as we continue through into the Grey Knight campaign. So, Keith, anything you want to touch on rules wise before we just kind of go and discuss Grey Knight briefly?
Because we're already starting to get long in the tooth. So
it's gonna so the Grey Knight, it does a change, right? So we took it seemed like maybe a year off, and Grey Knight came out, maybe a little less, but it's like, hey, would you all like to continue? And everyone's like, sure. And the Grey Knight continues on shortly after the end of the starter set. But one of the things that at least for me, that made the Grey Knight stand out was, whereas in the starter set, I believe that there's kind of a brief moment that touches on the mysterious supernatural aspects of King Arthur, but this one, kind of for most of the campaign, jumps into it feet first. Now, is that something that you feel is part and parcel. Like some people think of King Arthur and they just think of the Arthurian legend, i.e., the Excalibur movies where there's some supernatural aspects to it, but still it's all about the knights. But this
and the
one,
Grail and everything like that. Yeah.
Yeah. But this one leads into some history regarding the myth and mythology of Arthurian legend that I most certainly was not familiar with, but also goes into some very religious aspects in both, the Christian aspect, the pagan aspect. So it is for those who have played Pendragon, did you experience the Grey Knight when it came out? And is this something that you prefer, or do you still prefer focusing more on, the general Arthurian legend? Neve, we'll start with you since you've been playing.
Well, most of the Pendragon I played was one shot, so we never really did battles. We never did feasts.
Okay.
We never dipped into it. I mean, as we've played this, I've loved all the magical, the fate, but then my characters aimed that direction anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm lapping it up, even when I'm failing my rolls on those bits. But never mind. But no, I think it adds to it.
Mm-hmm.
It takes it away from this is just Dark Age Britain.
Right.
Because Excalibur really is Dark Age Britain. The magic is off to one side. It's a little bit over here and back down to. It's just a really good sword at the end of the day. So yeah, I think it needs the mystical in it.
Cool.
I like it.
Yeah.
I think that basically the mystical element gave something for you, Scott, to grasp because you could because the thing is what you couldn't grasp was the geography of Arthurian Britain.
All the names.
Just so you know, I have started a 3-year session of learning Welsh, so hopefully that helps me. But yeah,
good luck.
For those who are experiencing Pendragon, that's forget the rules, forget issues here, issues there, feasts, whatnot. Get yourself a good British friend. Have them be part of the game, or at the very least, just have them sit and listen. So when you butcher these locations, and you will, time and time and time again, because, there should not be that many consonants stuck together to name a person or a place. They can correct you and help you with that. And likewise, not just the names, but like locations. It's like, where is this? I know Londinium, and I pretty
fair. Half the locations in the Arthurian tales, bear no relationship to any
just
sort of,
BS location.
Like
Scott,
Scalehole.
Yeah.
If you think you had problems with that, you need to delve into Paladin.
Right.
Oh, okay. No,
and all the French. Good luck.
It didn't get that bad. At least there were no mountains in Norfolk. So,
Roy, any thoughts on the Grey Knight? Because I personally felt that this particular aspect of the Arthurian legend, the Pendragon game, kind of just fell right into your wheelhouse with all of the supernatural stuff.
I do love my Arthurian stuff. I have read Mallory, and I've just bought the new Chaosium version of Mallory, which is gorgeous, by the way. It's 15 quid, but it's worth every penny if you're slightly interested to it of it. So yeah, for me, it was but then again, I do tend to really like playing in settings where I'm sort of passionate about. Yeah. So this was just like perfect for me. I was reveling in it. Yeah. Every time you're describing something, I'm going, oh, that's. When am I talking about? It's an absolute treat for me.
So it did succeed in like a lot of games, like IPs, right? IPs can kind of go left or right with people. Yeah. But so it felt, at least from what I'm hearing, it felt more of like I'm part of this as opposed to I'm just on a sightseeing tour. Or it really didn't matter. It's just like any Easter egg, any location that you've read about. It's like, oh God, here I am.
With me, there is a little bit of that.
Yeah.
There is a little bit. I mean, I'm the same twat who has to watch every Marvel thing, even no matter how bad they are. I have to watch them. So it's yeah. And then recognise every Easter egg.
Yeah.
But no, it was. I mean, yeah, it felt like you were in the world, and I mean, for myself personally, being out of playing Knight, who was kind of new to it as well, coming as a foreigner coming in, just gave me a lot of fun interacting with it. So yes,
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso. Introducing Virtuo Up, the latest in a long line of innovation from Nespresso. It's innovation you can touch, sense, and taste in every single cup. With a 3-second start, easy open lever, and dedicated brew over ice button, it's even easier to enjoy your coffee your way. Sip for yourself. Shop Virtuo Up exclusively at Nespresso.com.
USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Tap the banner to learn more and get a quote at USAA.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
Keith, you yourself?
I enjoyed it. I do know that the original Grey Knight, this is expanded over the original Grey Knight. I never played the original version. My conversations with David Larkins before I took the assignment, you know, he iterated to me that it was an expanded version and deviated slightly from the original to be a transition from the starter set into the Grey Knight. So it bridged that gap. So that's how it was designed. So for listeners, that's exactly how it was designed. So it's, if you own the original, it is the original with some added content at the beginning to transition folks from the starter set into it.
Yeah.
And then you can go beyond from there whenever new product comes out. Like you can go into, oh my God, I'm going to say it.
Take your time. Dead Air is excellent.
No, I love Dead Air too. It's great.
I mean, basically, go and pick up any of the scenarios from the Companions of Arthur community content program.
Yeah. And anything there. Savage King. I was gonna say something else, but I didn't. You know, or even some of the older, earlier edition stuff, which is still compatible. You know, so.
Well, ultimately, you know, and again, just real quick, you know, the Grey Knight, you know, Sir Gawain, you know, he's the, you know, dubbed the hero for King Arthur to do a battle, you know, about several months later, there's a mysterious force that comes forward to challenge Arthur's reign. And if, you know, and then a Black Knight is there that ultimately is, you know, to, harass Arthur, but it turns out Sir Gawain steps forward, but he needs something special, a MacGuffin in a land that has been tainted, and your knights are the ones to go and find it. And hilarity ensues with all sorts of crazy things that also not only pertain to the scenario itself, but also allude to future things that occur in Arthurian legend. And ultimately, hopefully you get back in time to give Sir Gawain the MacGuffin, and he beats the Black Knight and saves the day. It is on a set time limit within the game, so there are a lot of instances that could instantly kill the scenario. And I will be perfectly honest, and I told you guys this, is I wasn't really keeping track of that for the most part, simply because I personally felt the Grey Knight had too many, you know, just brick walls that occurred to the point where it's like, well, you know, to be perfectly honest, I didn't buy this game to have fun with you, to just get to step into a location like you made it to the Wastelands. Now you're all dead. Well, let's close the book. Fuck it. We're done. So yes, there was a bit thumb on the scale. It was a bit railroady in regards to that, but it was to highlight and touch on the scenario itself. Whereas if we were doing it as part of, this is a grand campaign we're doing, probably a little different because things, but the thing is if you failed in any regards, you either die or you are
Audio's cut out.
Scott's audio's cut out.
Uh-oh.
No,
Oh,
you're back.
I'm back.
Oh, I love technology.
Am I here?
Yeah, you're there.
Okay. So, but anywho, but so that's the Grey Knight kind of in a nutshell. But that was kind of like the only little significant issue of that, of just like, you know, and if they don't do this, they fail. And if they don't do that, they fail. And guess what? If they take a few steps here, they fail. You know, and if they don't do this, you know, half of them fail, but half of them get to sit here for 3 hours while the others are playing, and they can just sit there and twiddle their thumbs. So there's a lot of that in there that I feel are reflective of a lot of the kind of the old school way games were kind of done. Whereas a lot of people who read this may take issue with that in more of the modern sense of, autonomy and just, you know, the collective unit of the players as a whole, as opposed to just like, well, Roy, you got insane, you know, go sit by the water cooler while we play off, you know, for the next 2 hours, and, you know, we'll see what happens kind of aspect to it. But so.
All right. So you said that. So how about we wrap this up with, on a high note, I would like everybody to include you, Scott, and then I'll come in last. What was your one highlight of this, of the Grey Knight? Pookie. One highlight.
Just the random battle against the ogres.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That was fun.
Yeah. Just riding to battle and just going, oh my god, rolling the number of dice I did in order to sort of like increase the skill threshold, and just going, okay, there's no way I can't do this and not look stunning, and she actually looked stunning, you know, doing it. And literally rode straight through a gap that had been created by Neve's character, on horseback, and speared one of the ogres.
If I remember right, I ran through the wall Kool-Aid Man style, if I remember right.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, it was great.
Yeah, here, hold on, just again, I just want to give a little detail. So this was a random occurrence. Neve's character failed her tracking roll, which in the game, based upon the situation, leads you, spoilers, to some ogres who were magically ensorcelled to look like peasants and help, coax them back to their hovel, and then try to capture them and eat them. And things didn't work out for these ogres because of, you know, what had Pookie had mentioned, and likewise several of the others, you know, that were there. But anyways, okay. So who's next, Keith?
All right, Neve.
Oh, which time?
You got to pick one highlight. One highlight for listeners.
I mean, really, spoiler again.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of has to be the giant.
Oh, yeah.
I'd just come back from a convention where I'd played Pendragon and gone against the giant and died horribly. And it's I won't have another one. It'd be fine. Next session. Oh, we got a giant. Oh, shit. So it gets to the point of there's two of us up front. It's going south. I have to charge. Gives everyone else a chance. And I think, yeah, okay, I'm dead. Right, off we go. And the dice saved me. Very much so. Then everyone else piled in and skewered a very upside down giant. But to be fair, Kay was probably the real favourite. Being set up all the time. It's like, oh God, I've got to now go and hit Kay in a tournament.
Yeah, so there's random situations, right? And Kay is a bit of just, you know, a
reoccurring nemesis,
not necessarily a nemesis, but just a thorn in everyone's side. And throughout the occurrence, likewise in the starter set, but here there are instances where, depending on how rolls occur, a character, not just Neve's character, but a character could cause an event to piss him off. And it just so happens every single situation that involved Kay throughout the scenario always fell on to Neve's Dame Tamora. So by the end, probably was now a nemesis, because, you know, Kay had a particular passion of hate towards Dame Tamora, and pretty much just because Dame Tamora was a better knight all around than he could be. If this wasn't a traditional Pendragon game where it's like, you know, because there's all sorts of notes, like, you know, don't kill the main characters, but you can obviously shame them. Kay would have died a long time ago at the hands of Dame Timur. Yeah,
you see, I think Kay's been done bad by this whole campaign. He's one of my favourite characters from those. So it's like he's a bit of an oaf at times, but he's also incredibly heroic and chivalric at other times and stuff like that. Yeah, I have to say it was one of my favourite. I can't give one favourite thing for this, but one of them is Dame Samora knocking Kay on his arse. That was an absolute blinding bit. I mean, Gwynhild's ridiculous passion for Guinevere was a bit of a highlight as well. Yeah. Can you class Roz's Dame Linnell's racism
oh God,
I'm not sure that's appropriate.
Yeah,
and then just my first character's death is probably my favourite character death I've ever had. Just that was fantastic. There's going mad thanks to Keith running.
That was going to be my highlight.
Yeah, go ahead and explain it, Keith. What occurred?
So, short story long. Roy was out for a session, so I took his character because it was my character. I was out. I didn't have a character anymore, so I filled in for Roy. Actually, no, I had a character. I was running both, and
we gave Roy the option of having someone run his character for him. Yes,
and I was playing his character, and we were in a battle, and I tried to impassion at the beginning of the battle, and the impassioning didn't go so well, and so I failed that, and then I had to roll. Well, that went even worse. So I became melancholy, in kind of not quite the worst possible way, but in the situation, the worst possible way. So after the battle, during the battle, I created my own conroy. I broke away from everybody else, and I was single-handedly trying to thump people with my sword or his sword and doing all the things that I probably shouldn't have done with his character, but I had to. And he held his own. And at the end of the battle, well, as the rules say, he ran off into the woods. He stripped his clothes down to his undergarments and ran off into the woods, melancholic, and he was so depressed.
Yes,
it was great.
Oh, and of course,
what was even more entertaining was when I had to tell Roy that his character fucked up. I fucked up. And that his character is now wandering the woods in his skivvies, weeping and just depressed. Yeah.
I mean, that's the prettiest knight by far amongst us.
Oh, yeah.
He's always the one that ends up in the scene half naked or naked.
Yeah.
Well, also being incredibly chaste.
Yes.
But yeah, coming back and then having to come up with what he'd been doing mad in the woods, and you discovering him that he now thought he was the Archangel Canguel of the Heavenly Host, and that strapped a load of duck feathers to his arms and as wings and stuff, and then had to drag him back to the castle in his loincloth with the wings on and stuff. Yeah, it was a lot of power. It was a real bit of highlight that.
Yeah, that was my highlight. I mean, because it led to that little scene there. I mean, that they just went together, and it was brilliant. Oh, absolutely brilliant.
Oh, well, I'm not going to be too picky. I Pookie, the ogre battle at the hovel, excellent. That couldn't have gone any better. Dame Tamora with Neve. And mind you, this was not me putting the thumb on the scale in this instance. Just anytime Kay came up, I was just like, oh, this is going to be good. And it was, from, knocking over all the preparation for the announcement between Guinevere and Arthur as he's traveling through Carleon, to one-shotting him at the tournament, and so on and so forth. Roy's character, though, Sir Aristelios, not necessarily a moment, but this was kind of like a role playing thing, because the best way I can describe, it's been mentioned, you obviously your appearance is just, you're absolutely gorgeous, but the way you played him as just this beautiful, oblivious man, just nothing phases him, completely just incapable of, I wouldn't say empathy, but just recognition of just everything occurrences that aren't directly in front of him. And I never watched the show Friends, but of course I've seen plenty of highlights. But the one thing that kind of occurred to me was, in my mind, anytime Aristotelios acted that way, it was Patrick Warburton acting like that character Putty from the show Friends, just like, yeah, oh, really? That's not my child, is it? And just being this, I mean, when you, I think my highlight was when the spoilers, the succubi or the succubus was trying to tempt you in the old chapel, and things just could not go perfect. And I thought this was going to be the end, because if you didn't make the roll, this was going to be, Aristotelios' downfall. But nope, it was just like, just you won out, and you got mad at if I remember, you were angry at the end of the day. It wasn't the succubi that bothered you. It was the fact that your squire didn't do something quick enough or helped you or something like that.
That was funny.
Yeah. Poor old Exy.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh God. But no, it was, but yeah. And of course, Keith, my highlights with you, with your character, of course, revolved around your Eustace is just constant, just his ego was up here, but absolutely no one would feed it. Every time you tried to do, to engage with someone through role playing, through talking about your deeds, or, look at me, look what I did. And everyone's just like, ew, okay. But it never phased him. It's just like, well, nope. There's two more dames over there. Hey, ladies, you want to hear about an ogre battle where I fell through a wall? And just carried on and on. And yeah, it definitely wasn't handled with the traditional aspect of this is going to be a serious Pendragon game. And I love that, because for me, I couldn't imagine just doing like a straight laced, Lamort Arthur just by the books. There's humor is part and parcel with it, and we did it without portraying Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I don't think there was one reference dropped even from day one, but it was still hilarious and still had its humor. So, all right, Pookie, would you recommend Pendragon 6th edition for someone to pick up and go play?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. It's a great reiteration of a classic role-playing game. The traits and passions are utterly elegant in their play, in how they push and pull your character, how they work as advantages and disadvantages, and define your character at the same time, and basically push you to be a knight, of some type, in the game. And the campaign itself is terrific. There's, you are playing through essentially a classic epic.
Excellent. Neve, I'm going to ask you, would you recommend Pendragon? But I'm also going to predicate it with, I already know the answer because you sell it at your store. So yes. But please, have anything to add to it though, please?
It's a great Chaosium product.
Yeah.
I've got no problems with it at all. The support stuff is coming out for it.
Mm-hmm.
You've also got the fan content on drive-through.
Companions of Arthur.
Companions of Arthur. And yeah, again, worst case scenario, you can get the old stuff on PDF that way through Chaosium as well. If you basically run out of what they've done already, but you're going to have to go fairly full tilt straight away to run out at the moment. That's good.
Yeah. Excellent. Roy, recommending Pendragon, but also in a perfect world, how soon would you like to see a copy of Grecian Hot Oil Wrestling Tournament Companion?
Well, I was going to say, I can't think of another rule set that simulates Greco-Roman wrestling covered in olive oil quite as well as Pendragon does. But I actually just think, I really think Pendragon for me is the best role-playing system I've ever played in 40 years. Role-playing. Because it's all the system itself, if you strip away the Arthurian stuff, I've played in one-shots at cons where I've played Texas Ranger using the Pendragon rules. I've played a Mythic Greece game using Pendragon rules. I've even played in a World War II set game using the Pendragon rules. All you've got to do is change the names of the skills and the traits, and it's complete. You can use it for almost any setting, but the rules are so flexible. As long as you want that character-driven stuff, because it's the traits.
Yes.
The core of the game isn't the combat, it's the traits as the core of the game. And I love it to bits. I absolutely love it. It's definitely my favorite role-playing system.
Excellent. Okay. Well, Keith, do you want your recommendation, or do you want to tie a bow on this so we can?
I don't have a recommendation.
That's fine.
No, I would say it's a great game. I've been playing it off and on since the mid 90s. So ever since 4th edition. So I will continue to play it. I enjoy it every time we play. Every time I play with a different group, the stories are always different. There's always a memorable moment in every game I play. Like this whole thing with Sir Aristelios running off in his loincloth into the woods is the moment from this game. That will always stick in my brain. And with the rest of them from the other games, there's always one of those memorable moments in Pendragon, unlike other games that I play. So Pendragon is my game. So just like Roy, it is such a memorable game for me. It's kind of like the Apex, my top tier game. So yeah, highly recommend it.
Yeah. And I do the same. I won't drag it out. I agree with every one of you. You hit all the highlights. It is a wonderful game. But I will add, it is definitely a great game to play with friends because, good times abound unless you lay down with your friend's wife when he's too sick to join the session. And then who knows what happens after that. But yeah, it's definitely something it is definitely something to sit down and enjoy and cherish over the long term. Don't rush Pendragon if you're playing it. Take your time and let it breathe. So, all right. Well, this has been a short 40 minutes. So we'll probably end up doing this as in a 2-part episode just to kind of even it out, but may drop them both at the same time or just maybe just a week apart to keep it easy. But thank you all. I do appreciate it, and and a shout out to Roz. I wish she could have been here, but it is what it is. Yeah. But this has been great. The wonderful discussion about the game, and also thank you all for being there to play this game with me. You provided me countless hours of enjoyment and stress, but also each one of you helped me understand the game, more so than I would if I just sat down and read the book and did the rules on my own. And hopefully we can return to it again with the Savage King in the near future. See how that goes. And we also need to find out. Go ahead, Roy. Yeah.
There is one highlight of the game.
Oh yeah.
That should be mentioned, and that is Rosis Linnell's character never liking Arthur because ever since she saw him she thought he was trying to steal it, and she's never fully decided that he wasn't just a thieving little shit and he shouldn't be kin.
So slight correction on that. It wasn't. It wasn't that Arthur was stealing the sword. If I remember right, Arthur tried to steal her money purse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the money purse.
And then saw him taking the sword, is it?
Yeah. Yeah. Then it was that. Yeah. So
still not over it. It's been
she's not over it.
6 years, seven. Yeah. Nope. Just
and he's king.
Yeah, I think she's the only one who doesn't have a passion for, the king. So
I think
it's really low.
I
think she's bordering on hate for Arthur at this point.
The only thing she hates more is Picts, but hey, that's for another.
She really
tale.
hates Picts.
So
yeah, if he's ever crowned king of the Picts, he's in trouble.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus!
But
I would like to say two things. Thank you, Pookie, Neve, Roy, for being here, talking with us, especially going on about the rules, because that was a really important part of this conversation. Mm-hmm. Scott, thank you for running the game for us over the year plus, back and forth with with the two different products and the break and all of that. So thank you very much. I would also like to say to listeners, thanks for listening through both parts of this episode, part A, part B, whatever we call it. Mm-hmm. But also, Scott and I will be at Chaosium Con in April in, where are we going? What town is that?
Oh, Ypsilanti.
No. Or in Ann Arbor. That's it. It's going to be in Ann Arbor, Michigan. So, if you're going to Chaosium Con in the US, and you want to connect with Scott and I, buy us a drink, hey, great. Come on, find us. Scott and I both love beer, so find us. We'll hang out. We're going to have a meetup at some point. We're going to be doing roving man on the street kind of thing, podcasting on Friday of the convention in the morning. So hit us up.
And if you find me by myself or Keith's busy, I will tell you who the real father of the Fae child is.
Oh, you bastard. And then if he tells anybody, you got to tell me. That's it.
Have you even explained what that's about? Because it's
okay.
Sort of like asides and
what's another couple minutes. So real quick. There's a part in the I know spoilers. There's a part in the Grey Knight where after you confront the ogre, you essentially were sent out by a Fey Lord and a Fey Lady to go retrieve her horse, which was stolen by this huge ogre before he'll provide you with the information on the MacGuffin you need for Sir Gawain. Upon return with this horse, if you're successful, there is, a celebration, a party, which takes place in the land of Faerie, surrounded by all the various, Fey and Fey-like creatures. Good times are had. And depending on the choices of the characters, whether they partake or not, determines, essentially what may or may not occur come morning. Now, the problem is, not only did did most everyone fail except one, to resist the party. The thing that happens is the party, goes into the usual Fey aspect, abstracts itself, and no one remembers what happens the night before, other than they had a good time. In the scenario, they kind of throw a little tidbits of like, hey, nothing happens in Fey without a price. This could occur, that could occur. There could be a surprise 9 months later. Who knows? So, the party is divided between, 2 male knights and the rest are female knights. And of course my mind's going, I'm not going to make like, Roz or Neve or Pookie, wake up with a bun in the oven. But we have a couple guys here who have a bit of swagger that could be knocked down a notch or two. So when Roy, at the end of the Fey night, there's an option of one of the ladies, becoming betrothed to one of the knights, and that was Roy's. And that's pretty much the end, right? But I'm like, well, let's do something different. Let's do their marriage. We'll have their marriage at the end of the year before winter phase, and I'll make a feast. We'll have some fun. So fun was had. We went through the feast. The feast was 3 rounds by the feast rules, and everyone had a good time. We did the round robin of all the different cards, and we had a couple people pass out, which was, I believe, Neve's character. You were down and out. Roz was gone.
Yeah.
So at the end, the doors kicked open, and a contingent from representatives from the land of Faerie emerged, saying that they had brought a gift to the wedding reception. And the announcement essentially was made that partying in the land of Fae have consequences, and here they are. And inside a silver blanketed bunting was a child, and essentially they said, well, this child belongs to one of these two. the drunken lout over in the corner, and
Or
Mr.
Arthur.
Or the guy who just got married, who's Mr. Chaste. And that's where we stopped. Oh, and just to throw this out, the uncle of the lady Roy married doesn't like Roy, and was kind of like just frowned upon this whole situation. You know, he thinks Roy's obviously in it for just the lands and the wealth and everything, which he is.
Right. Yeah.
He is.
But just was frowning on all of this, but there's not much he could do about it. But who knows what's going to happen now? You know, now that, you know, he had some dalliances with some fae at a party. So who knows? So yeah,
in
there
the
we go.
future, we're going to have to play to find out.
Yeah.
Be the daddy.
Exactly. So there we go.
I mean, one of them literally fucked around, and now we're going to find out.
Right. I think the proper terminology is fey around and
find out. Yeah.
All right. Well,
we all probably did. Unfortunately, one got unlucky.
Right. All right. Well, everyone, thank you all for listening to this, and again, thank you all for coming and joining in. I appreciate it. You know, and you know, give a listen. Come to ChaosmCon. Say hi to Keith and I. It'll be good times. So. Keith, anything else before we ride off into the sunset?
Nope. Let's ride off into the sunset, and we'll be back the next time we're in the studio.
And Sir,
we need coconuts for that.
No, I was going to say, Sir Stelios and Sir Eustace, you keep riding after we stop. So, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.